My contemporary conversation is in regards to the dehumanization, oppression, and exploitation of Black women in our churches and communities, and how that intersects with theology. The lesson plan is going to be a 3-week program that is going to consist of sessions that last for a duration of 1 hour on Tuesday evening starting at 6 p.m. It will be held in person in the sanctuary of United Community Outreach Worship Center, as well as streamed live on Facebook. In week 1 session, we will talk about the experience of the Black woman emanating from a Christian theology founded in a patriarchal, white hegemony and superiority. We will also explore the coercion of Black women into social role surrogacy. And lastly, we'll examine the significance of this issue. We're going to talk about in the first session how Caucasian patriarchal logic of domination and superiority is the normative, and it is considered the liberating, justice-seeking gospel of Jesus Christ. However, there is no liberation for the Black woman because, as we can see, as far as this session is going to say, is that when we're talking about a theological perspective that has come and has forced women into surrogacy roles that limit or altogether strip them of their moral agency, then that could not be the true gospel of God. We're going to talk about the biblical character Hagar and how her experiences align with the experiences of the enslaved Black woman. We're also going to talk about the surrogacy roles created in the form of Mammy and the masculinized Black female and the over-sexualized Jezebel. We're also going to talk about the invisibility that the application of the patriarchal theology has caused for the Black woman in her experience. We are going to talk about the significance of that, and the significance of that is that it contributes to the exclusion of Black women. It also contributes to gender violations and abuses that refute the personhood and equality of the Black woman. We're going to talk about how she is objectified and how she is devalued. And we're also going to talk about the financial disparity that she experiences as being considered less than the man. In week 2, we're going to talk about an analysis of various perspectives on this issue. We're going to talk about Black liberation theology, going to talk about feminist theology, and going to talk about womanist theology and how all of that relates to and how the dehumanization and oppression and exploitation of Black women is dealt with in each one of these different theologies. The first one is going to be James Cone and Black liberation theology. We're going to talk about how the purpose of that one was to emphasize and embrace our Blackness and to help us to find a self-love and a self-respect for ourselves, and to search and move toward a quest for liberation from the injustice of oppression. But even though that one dealt with injustice and oppression, it was aimed toward dealing with racism in particular. And when we think about Black theology, sexism as experienced by the Black woman appeared to be overlooked and deemed secondary in pursuit. So we're going to talk about that and how even though Black theology dealt with liberation from oppression, it still did not deal with the challenges of gender injustice. The next one that we're going to talk about is feminist theology, and how this one was rooted in a tradition of patriarchal ideology that devalued the woman and promoted the image of God as male. We're going to talk about how it mostly dealt with the disenfringement of the white middle class woman. However, it did not really deal with the specific needs of the Black woman's experience, dealing with them being expected to be silent and invisible as a sacrificial lamb in the pursuit of the communal fight against racism. We're going to talk about them remaining subservient to the white and Black male, and the expectation of them to stay in their place. Also going to talk about how they were violently raped and utilized as property and breeding machines for the capitalistic gains of their masters. And then we're going to talk about the clarion call for a corrective response that not only spoke to gender equality and justice, but also equality and justice for all humanity. And that took place within the confines of womanist theology. We're going to talk about the discourse of how that was shaped as specifically from the African American woman's perspective. And we're also going to look at the quote from Cheryl Kirk Duggan that revealed that womanist Christian ethical praxis involves Black women's commitment to understand and change oppressive systemic structures and alienating experiences. Thank you so much.